Howdy doody, welcome to episode 159 of TDI. This is Dr. O on the horn to start per usual. And guess what? We have the return of Game of Thrones penultimate episodes. Buckle up, folks. We know you're in for a treat. So I'm joined as always by my one and only co-host, my best friend, House of the Dragon aficionado, Ricky Flex. How are you, my friend? Are you ready to talk some House Green? Verde, baby.
I'm ready to talk House Green. I'm not ready to talk about feet, though. And I think
Oh my God.
that was my major takeaway. Not the ultimate ending to this episode, but the absolute obnoxiousness of putting that in here. Crazy.
Can we say we're that surprised? Can we say we're that surprised?
No, but like, come on now. Like, that was absurd.
Honestly, the most breathtaking moment of a penultimate Game of Thrones episode, which is something to say about what we just saw. That is something to say. I was literally flabbergasted. The fact that we had Alicent looking away, knowing exactly what was going on, hearing the rustling that was happening across from her, and she just simply looks away and shows off her feet. Is this like the reward that Larys was looking for the entire time?
It's what it seems like. It seems like that and the future hand to Aegon whenever Otto passes, or this episode shows that maybe he's looking to do that, be the hand once again right now.
I think he just wants the feet, dude. That's all he wants. He sees those like luscious pearls at the bottom of Alicent's body, and he's like, "I wish I had those. I wish I had 2 feet that operated correctly and looked." And I guess he loves the cankles. He just loves the overall structure, right, of Alicent's feet of her lower
Jesus,
half.
what are you? I it's crazy because like Alicent was like arguably like the first star of the night of the episode here, and then you did this in the episode, just her like getting like she's like a sex slave basically. Like I don't know, like awful, awful.
Interesting that you said Alicent was one of your 3 stars of the night. We're gonna get to it. Ricky Flicks is coughing up 3 lungs right now, which is okay. He acted like there was like
I am so sick.
You just acted like Princess Rhaenys just absolutely blew up the scepter. He's still coughing. And it looks like it's like a day later, nothing but smoke. Ricky Flex is just walking through it right now. Are you okay, Ricky Flex? He's chugging Gatorade at this moment.
Absolutely not. I'm not okay.
He's got tears in his eyes, and I think it might have been from the disappointment of today's episode. But Ricky Flex, let's go into initial reactions. We're obviously coming off the electric episode 8, the performance of Paddy Considine, his last performance as King Viserys. We left off with Viserys on his deathbed, thinking that he is speaking to Rhaenyra, when in fact it is his wife, Alicent. He's going through Aegon's prophecy, A Song of Ice and Fire, and all Alicent hears during this sequence is that Viserys wants Aegon to be king, and she takes that and runs with it, and that leads us into today's episode. So Ricky Flex, when you think of penultimate Game of Thrones episodes, you're thinking Red Wedding, you're thinking Battle of the Bastards, you're thinking Battle of Blackwater. What were your expectations going in for this episode, and did they live up to those expectations?
So I mentioned how, you just said 2 unbelievable penultimate episodes, probably the top 2 if we had to, at least for me personally. And you had 2 iconic scenes right there. And Game of Thrones lore, like it's all about that one scene in the episode. The whole episode's great, but it's all about that one that you're going to remember, the one you don't want to spoil for anyone else that hasn't seen the show yet or hasn't seen the episode yet. That one. And this one was a great one. But it's not even in top 5 Game of Thrones lore.
Dude, I think we're going to get to our rankings. I look at season 7 and 8, and those, I don't even count those really as penultimate episodes because they're shortened seasons in both regards. Season 7 was, I think, really good, in my opinion. That was, to me, was breathtaking. It's like the dragons at full force. I had that ahead of the one we just watched.
I agree.
This as the second worst penultimate episode we've gotten in the history of Game of Thrones. You were exactly right. You rely on that moment, the one that we can harken back to when we're 5 seasons down the line, or however many that we're going to get with House of the Dragon. Remember that penultimate episode with season 1. These writers know you're making a Game of Thrones spinoff. A lot is riding on the penultimate episode. And I think that big moment fell completely flat. It was underwhelming. Rhaenys, we obviously have House Green here, all right? Alicent with the Green Council, right, taking center stage in the hunt for Aegon. But it's coming down to that moment where Aegon is being crowned. You know something big is going to happen. And it was just sad. Like, to me, it was like you thought Rhaenys could pack that punch. Imagine if it was Rhaenyra on that dragon, Daemon on that dragon. But the thing is, like, Rhaenys, she didn't blow him away, because then you wouldn't have a show, right? You could easily have that dragon blow him away, and then like that, then you're looking at that as an iconic moment. That's like one of those red wedding moments. Like, these people that we've grown such an attachment to, they're gone. Here, it's just almost like a threat. She's going back to Rhaenyra to warn her what's going to happen, leading to ultimate war. But she just kills thousands of people. It actually had the vibes of season 8 of Game of Thrones, penultimate episode, when you had Daenerys just tearing down King's Landing and killing like hundreds of innocent people. You know, to me, it felt completely flat. They thought Rhaenys was more powerful than she was. They tried to build her up this episode as someone who's being imprisoned, who needs to escape, and then lead to this impactful moment. Fell completely flat. How about for
you? So, Game of Thrones is all about the surprise deaths, and especially in the penultimate episodes, or at least the deaths that or the deaths that you know are coming, but you don't know who's going to die, which side's going to win. Here, I don't think it fell completely flat because it's season 1. And you wouldn't have a show without it. But it showed you, like, the show could still pack a punch. Clearly, there's a dragon coming up through the floor. Like, there's clearly packs a punch there. But they wanted to show you that, at least to me, that from the conversation from earlier, that Rhaenys is just a different breed than all the other people in King's Landing that have power, that she has morals, right? And she doesn't care about the crown anymore, the throne. She just cares about what's
pragmatic,
right.
in my opinion. Like, pragmatic.
So that's why she doesn't.
Scenarios.
So it makes sense why she doesn't blow them away. But it's just like when you're comparing against other penultimate episodes for Game of Thrones, that's why it's not near the top. So it's hard to say it falls flat just in general TV lore, because that was a great episode and it did have a lot of exciting aspects to it. Also weird aspects like we talked about before, but we can get past that. But it's like when you're just comparing it to the best, yeah, no, it's not near. It's not. So, but it didn't fall flat, but I wish it lived up to the Game of Thrones hype. But this isn't Game of Thrones. Let's remember, this isn't Game of Thrones.
Right. So what's interesting here to me, it felt like something was missing from this overall episode. I loved the hunt for Aegon. I love the competition between Otto and Alicent. Alicent finally recognizing like she has to make decisions for her own, not just be on behalf of the men in her life. So that's why like maybe she does crack the 3 stars for this episode. It's hard that she doesn't in a House Green episode and a focus on the Green Council. I'm probably will try to make the argument that she's not one of the 3 stars of this episode later on. Little teaser. Ricky Fox gives me the wide eyes, but you felt that you were missing House Black in this episode severely. Like, to me, there are times where earlier in this season we felt like, okay, we need Daemon to show up to save this episode, right? It felt like we needed Daemon or Rhaenyra to save this episode because it just wasn't as highly entertaining compared to like the absolute streak we were on with the change of actors and the string of episodes that led to the penultimate. To me, it did fall flat. I know I'm a little bit harsher than you at this moment, which is weird because usually I'm like glass half full, dude, and you're like, no, that sucked. But I'm thinking this kind of sucked, bro. It kind of sucked. I was seeing that moment with Aegon marching through after he has that conversation with Aemon saying he's not worthy to be king. He doesn't want it, right? And then having him walk through and that music playing, you're anticipating something massive to happen. I was anticipating a full-on assassination. That's what I was looking for. I want to see like Daemon from the clouds, like on Dragon back, just sniping Aegon, right? Ultimately leading to a declaration of war. I thought that's where we were going. The fact that we had no loss of life in this episode, except for my boy, Lord Beesbury, I want to get to that scene in the early on Green Council that we're going to discuss, and we're talking about Lord Commander as well. Graham McTavish. Hopefully, we see him later on. Might be a future Simple Minds. Don't you forget about me contender, right? But did you feel like you were missing House Black here, or are you just saying like, okay, House Green got the penultimate episode? That means the finale we're getting all House Black.
Well, I think you're clearly missing them in this episode. There's only two real houses that are getting shine throughout this season, like we talk about throughout our deep dives here. That Game of Thrones, like you have a bunch, several kingdoms that you're going to each episode to dedicate your time to. Here you only have two, but they usually throughout the entire series have been together the entire time. And this is one of the few times where they're separate, but not just separate. And the episode's trying to cover both sections, both houses. No, like one's not shown the entire episode. That's the first time they've done that so far. So for me, when we did our power rankings last week, at least I'll speak for myself, my top three were all House Black people.
Yeah, same. We'd say one.
So that's why the show felt flat to you, I think. And I can't fault you for that, but I can fault you for this one did have epic or very, very, very good scenes. That opening scene, the council, was an amazing scene. That was an amazing scene. There were other amazing scenes in this episode that made it great. It's just that could it have been better? Yeah, because it would have his best characters in it.
I agree with you. That I actually like the Green Council better than that final scene. Seeing like the motivations behind the scene, like we were almost only getting Alicent's, I guess, perspective from those scenes. And then after she says the king is dead, and then his dying wish was for Aegon to be king, although we know that's false. They are automatically ready to go. They planned on Aegon being named king because they want to go back and resort to the traditional ways of Westeros. And it helps lend into later on the episode where Alicent feels almost ostracized and she feels like she's only working for the men, where these people are planning behind her back. They're making decisions before she is the queen. They're making decisions like basically behind her back. And they're saying like, oh, we didn't want to put this on you. You know, we want to put this type of information in front of you because we don't think you could pull the trigger when it comes to executing Rhaenyra, which is put on the table by Otto himself. And then it's just Alicent feels betrayed a little bit during this time sequence, during this Green Council meeting. And it helps lend to the later on in the episode. But Beesbury, this is like his big moment in the episode. And he says, this is wrong. Viserys did not want this, right? He's willing to stand up to it. And Kristen Cole smashes his head against, right, the table. He's clearly in love with Alicent. He clearly is just a man filled with rage at this point, and will do whatever he...
Yeah, in love with Alicent might be a stretch, but like just hates Rhaenyra.
But like you have that sequence afterwards where Kristen Cole, he's asked to go, like Alicent asked Kristen to go find Aegon, do this for me. Like she knows he's in love with her. She knows.
I don't know.
But like and they also, when they talk about like the Otto sending out the execution and Lord Commander saying no, putting his sword down, and Kristen Cole also challenging the Lord Commander. I was hoping like this episode, like once they found Aegon, we were going to see Kristen Cole trying to execute Rhaenyra, right? His former lover, and Daemon, someone that he's had a rivalry since episode 1. Like to me, I would have loved to see that episode rather than the end that we got. Like if we had some type of sequence where there's consequences and you have death on the line, where Kristen Cole is standing up to these two that he just despised us with all of his heart, I think that could have been something special compared to like this sniffing of a dragon with Rhaenys on Dragonback. To me, like that would have been much more exciting. I thought that's where we were going at one point.
Yeah, but I never expected that. Like that's just like there wouldn't be a show. Like going back to like this is season 1. They said they want like 4 or 5 seasons. Like,
but Kristen Cole has shown up in every single episode. I just saw a tweet. He's the only character to show up in every single episode of House of the Dragon. Like, what if he like? It's okay if Daemon kills Kristen Cole. That's still a moment we're going to harken back to. Well, let's say Kristen Cole is about to murder or execute Rhaenyra. I'm talking hypotheticals here, but if Daemon comes out of nowhere to execute Kristen Cole, what a fan moment for us.
Well, I bet. Well, in the teaser, you could see they're on the bridge again. Similar to I forget what other episode, but when Daemon initially
Dragon Egg.
Yeah, the Dragon Egg, right? And Kristen Cole's there. So I'm assuming, and Otto is on the bridge in this one, in episode 10 teaser trailer. So that's gonna be interesting. But Kristen Cole is probably there as well because the Knights, the commander, whatever, the Kingsguard's there. So he's probably there since he's the leader of the Kingsguard. Kingsguard. So that's gonna be crazy. But he's clearly out of control.
Otto?
And Kristen Cole and Otto.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kristen Cole first. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, Kristen Cole is clearly out of control, and that would be a great from episode 1 to episode 10. What do we always talk about? You want to wrap like it's like a movie, a show. It's like a circle, right? You like first scene, last scene, like all the themes from the first episode to the last episode, first scene to the last scene of a movie. It's a circle, comes around, full circle. That would be perfect to end the season with. A big death. Kristen Cole is not a big character, in my opinion. I think he's a supporting character that is sometimes just because of he's a part of some major impacts that were like, oh crap moments. It's like, wow. But now it's like, okay, he's done enough here. Like I think we've had him, like we've had enough impact from him where we can kill him off next episode. And it'll be perfect if Daemon did it. Or now, I'd be okay with the Lord Commander doing it, who's now going to be on Rhaenyra's side, doing it on the bridge. That would be a good full circle too, right?
Someone one-on-one against Kristen Cole, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. I'd be okay with that. But what I will tell you before we get to Otto is we need a major death, quote unquote major death in the next episode, or else don't call this a Game of Thrones prequel. We need people dying. So
9 I think and 10 need to be the strongest. They need to be the strongest.
I have predictions of who's going to die next episode, and like I need to start seeing deaths. Way too long without major deaths.
I agree, and I think we are going to get some in episode 9, especially with now this Aegon being named king.
10.
What did you say?
Episode 10.
Yeah. So I think we're going to get an insane finale because we have House Black on the sidelines during all these happenings with the declaration of king for Aegon, like Rhaenyra. I can't wait to see her reaction as a result. Daemon going full on first episode. Daemon, let's bring that back, baby. Otto, he is in the top 3 stars of the night for me. He's the top 3 star of the episode. This is the Otto that I think was lurking on the inside from the first 5 episodes of this series. He's been on the back burner for the last few, ever since he's returned as Hand of the King, but he knew how to take care of business right when Viserys is dead. He's asking, who knows? All right. He's the one putting in motion the execution of Rhaenyra or assassination of Rhaenyra and Daemon, right? He has this in his head. He can picture it. It's clear. His decisiveness. He almost feels like a king. He knows exactly what he has to do, right? In order to ensure that Aegon is safe, right? And any type of threat to his rule is going to be like obviously destroyed. And he is leading this search for Aegon with Eric and Eric, who have 2 twin brothers with the same name spelled differently, making it confusing even more for all Game of Thrones audiences. I was just impressed by him and how he shows ruthlessness because like he is like proud of Alicent, but he doesn't completely trust her. He knows he can get the job done. He is a pure Game of Thrones character. No matter if he's talking to family or alliances, he's going to do what he knows is right. And to me, this was Otto's strongest episode. Do you agree or disagree with me in that regard?
I think I agree with you in every facet of what you said. But to be a 3-star of the night, I think I just have a different interpretation of of stars of the night. I'm thinking like performances and character, like impact, like Viserys last episode. That was Viserys' episode. This episode, it was mainly Alicent's episode. Now, did I like Alicent? Am I rooting for her? No. But Otto, like when he was in this episode, it was like Alicent finding out that what this Green Council's been doing. like Allison finding out that Otto's been behind her back and is okay with spies in the Red Keep. Otto's not the one like being an alpha here, as in showcasing it. He's an alpha, but without showing it. It's hidden. So I think for me, it's more of a character power rankings that we both didn't have him in the top 5 last week. I think he's in the power rankings this week now.
Okay.
But is he a 3-star of the night for me? No.
This is important because power rankings, like best character, you're definitely taking acting into consideration. But other contenders I have for episode, like 3-star of the night, is not the same. Like people that aren't even touching the power rankings, right?
Yeah.
I got like 3-star of the night. I'm thinking like almost purely story when I'm thinking about it. Like, do you want to just jump to it now? Do you want to jump to the 3 stars of the night?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'll go with my 3. Okay. I got Rhaenys as 1st star of the night. Okay. Do I love that? No. Right. But she's the one who takes center stage in the biggest moment of the penultimate episode. First of all, like not even just first of all, but the security during this time from the King's Guard to let Rhaenys have access to a dragon like that. I mean, where are the exits? Check the exits. Check all outlets to dragons, the most powerful weapons in all of Westeros. She's able to just march down some stairs and just jump on a dragon and burst out from the inside. Like, what is that? That is terrible. Like the fact that she could just walk in there and do that. Like, who wouldn't just follow her? There's what? Thousands of people at this crowning for Aegon. Terrible. But Rhaenys is the one where she's the pragmatic one. She's the one that was trapped inside, imprisoned by, I guess Otto, who makes the official call, but then also Alicent, who tries to reason with Rhaenys. But Rhaenys, she recognizes that Alicent trying to make good. She doesn't necessarily trust Alicent. She thinks Alicent is weaker. She's like, okay, I give you credit. You're stronger than I thought just because you take all the orders from men around you. But then she comes in, takes the dragon, bursts up top. She's 1st star of the night because that's going to say she escaped as well. So I'm saying she is 1st star. She took center stage, although, this was a hunt for Aegon, Alicent, and Otto trying to find it. My 2nd star, okay, of the night. This is interesting. So I have Otto as the 2nd star of the night. It's Otto. Actually, take it back. I had Sir Eric. So this is where 3 stars does not come into power rankings. Like 2nd star, I have Sir Eric because he sneaks Rhaenys out. He is now becoming a fan favorite character. And although he loses Rhaenys in the crowd but he also helps find Aegon. Going beyond that, Ricky Flicks, after he finds Aegon, he gets Rhaenys out of there. But after he gets Rhaenys out of there, he might not. What are you looking at? Why do you keep tapping your head?
Oh, he has the crown, Viserys' crown.
Okay, so yes, but yeah, I was confused about why you kept tapping your head. I thought, what's on my head right now? I think it's without Sir Eric, she doesn't get the dragon and make that splash at the end of the episode and eventually escape. That's why I have him in the 3 stars. And I mentioned Otto, his decisiveness. Without Otto's decisiveness, I'm not sure that Aegon gets to take the throne. His dealings with Messaria, in the city, I have those as my 3 stars. I'm not willing to take Alicent because I took Rhaenys' words to heart, where I'm like, yeah, the more I think about it, Alicent is built up to be this strong figure. She's wearing the green. She makes the march in episode 5 during the wedding. She's helping making these decisions at the King's Council. But Otto's the one that's making all the dealings behind the scenes. So those are my 3 stars of the night.
Okay, well, I think you said enough with Rhaenys. Easily the number 1 star. 2, I have Alicent. You got to consider, yes, this was only House of the Green, House Green episode, but this was her episode. So I had to take that into account. So I put her 2nd. And although I will say, she is the 2nd star, but I just don't like what they're doing. I think, and I'm going to explain in a second, but I think what they're going to do, what I'm about to say, is the next episode because I have a prediction with that. But so what I didn't like was that in the episode where she puts the blade to Rhaenyra, and cuts her arm, and then Otto's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. you want it. But then it's like you don't want it. You don't want to kill Rhaenyra and the kids. You don't want you don't want to protect your house. It's like you're not an alpha, right? You're letting someone jerk off, to, get
Oh,
off,
oh,
get up to your
I
feet.
hate it when you
Like
talk like that.
it's just like you're not an alpha. You got to start being an alpha. You've never thought of being on the Iron Throne. It's like, yeah, you should. Like, you're basically the one like at the head of the council meetings. Like, you have a council going behind your back doing all of this, but you're at the head of the council every time that the council meets, actually, like recorded. So I have problems with that, but I think that changes next episode. But that doesn't take into account my 3 stars. She's just number 2 because she wasn't the most like the brightest of star, because that's clearly Rhaenys after the reasons you said. But this was her episode, so number 2, and then number 3. It's interesting because I went the same route as you with Eric, but with a different character. No, very similar. Lord Commander wrestling.
The one who resigns.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
love that.
That's a good pick.
I love that. Under the radar, he's in and out of the episode, but you know what? That's an impact because that ended the scene really, and that was like, wow, look, this is turning right now. Like this treason's on the table. This Westeros is about to go full, like it's about to be on fire, not literally, but on fire. But it will be literally soon. So, yeah, Westerling, formerly Lord Commander. That's my 3rd star of the night.
Very similar. Like we're in the same boat there. Not a lot of screen time for Sir Eric, who is newcomer to this show, and not a lot of screen time for your boy, Lord Commander. But definitely, I think lasting impacts and characters that we have to keep a lookout for in the future, for sure.
Lord Eric gets me a little pissed off though, because like, first off, like you said, the names there's so many names that we already get confused with, but to have brothers that have the same name but just spelled differently when you don't have the captions on, you wouldn't know. It's like, that's just confusing. So that's stupid. And then
bad for podcasting.
Terrible for podcasting. But then I also hate how he picks like justice basically over your brother. And I'm not just saying this because you're my brother, but yeah, that is not cool. Yeah. That does not fly with me. I am not picking a king, or I'm not picking a side over blood. Right? It's just like your houses. Like when you're battling for your house, like they're doing in this show, House of the Dragon, right? Team Black versus Team Green. It's the same thing in normal life. Hate that. They got to join together and figure it out because they don't hate each other. They love each other. And clearly they have a bond, even though they bicker through the episode because while they're getting pissed off at each other, they're trying to find Aegon. But it's like, that's what brothers do. And he just without them actually like talking about which side they're going to be on. It's like he just bails. It's like the future Lord Commander of the Watch, who is the best fighter, the only one with actual experience that's in the Kingsguard. I keep saying the Watch, Kingsguard. He's not going to win that fight. You got to go help your brother, and he don't. Terrible.
Yes, Ricky, but we've seen where, like, if you have extreme loyalty in the show, where it can go, and that we also see that again. Right, reflective in when Otto is addressing the houses that pledge loyalty to Rhaenyra, right, and he's asking them to switch and pledge loyalty to Aegon based on Viserys' dying wish. And what do many of them do? They switch, right? They switch where their loyalty lies because, right, their lives are threatened. But their lives are threatened. So I know you're saying like you should do that, but also like, do you like you're trying to protect yourself at some point as well,
right? But I think the situation is different because I think in either side, if you're on Kristen Cole's or Aemon's side or Aegon's side, you're both on the wrong, like non-team Black. It doesn't matter because let's say like Aegon, like you definitely thought like, oh, like Aegon's either dead or he's fleeing, right? If Kristen Cole and Aemon get what they want, right? You thought that for a second. I know I did, but that means still Team Green's in power. Like it doesn't matter. It's still treason.
Dude, is it weird that I low-key didn't understand why they were fighting in the first place if they have the same goal?
That's
like I was just like, why are they like? I get it, like you're doing the orders of Otto and you're doing the orders of Allison. But either way, like you're still grabbing hold of the soon-to-be king and bringing him back. Like I know Allison has the upper hand when she comes back, and Otto's like, nicely done. I'm like, well, you're both gonna like bring him right to be crowned. Like to me, like that fight was just. It felt a little bit unnecessary, and I think it actually hurt the overall hunting for Aegon, which I thought was excellently done. I
Hmm.
thought those scenes were very good. Like the fact that we got background on Aegon and how he is truly not fit to be king. He is going to these brothels and he's going to also these underground fighting rings where he is taking his own bastards and watching them fight to the death. This guy is truly, right, obviously messed up and truly someone that is going to be unpredictable as king, someone who seems to be like relishing. He's someone who didn't want to be king, but once he has that crown on his head and he feels that love from the crowd, it has me thinking this guy is the next Joffrey, right?
Yeah,
He wants that now that he has that feeling of what that crown provides, he's now going to abuse his power unrelentlessly.
you,
But what I just wanted to get your thoughts on like the actions that we find out from Aegon during this manhunt, because I think we all knew it was bad. We didn't know how bad, but I think there's still more to be found out. There's still more to be unturned from the stone.
yeah. I wrote in my notes, Aegon equals messed up. He is a messed up individual, and like you could tell, he's still like when he gets the old blade and of Aegon the Conqueror, and also the crown. It's like he still is like doesn't want to be king. He knows that his dad didn't like him, knew who he was, and didn't want him to be heir. And he says it himself, but Allison's like, whatever, dude. And then when he's up in front of all those people, you could tell like he doesn't want this either, but then he feels the glory.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, so maybe there's a turn coming, or a potential quick death, similar to Joffrey. We'll see. We'll see. But I think that someone, either Aegon or Aemon, are going to be dying. Either next episode, then mid-season finale of next season. Like one of those two are not living long enough, and Aemon looks too electric to do that. So I think it will be him. So this might just be short-lived.
If Aemon is gone within the first two seasons, it has to be an epic death. But I think that's also I'm glad you brought up Aemon, because that's the next character I want to go to, who we learn a lot about during this manhunt. We recognize that he doesn't think Aegon is fit to rule. He has a hatred towards his own brother. He doesn't think he's fit to rule. Aemon is the one who understands the histories. He knows how to rule. He has studied. He is ruthless, right? He's calculated. Him communicating to Kristen Cole during this was fascinating to me, because we're getting someone that like brought a lot of intrigue last episode. Okay, even the episode before that with him as his younger self, we want to know more about him, and we get inside the brain of Aemon. And then we also have this interesting moment where they go to a brothel, Kristen Cole and Aemon, and they go to, right, this woman who's running the brothel, and she recognizes Aemon. And Aemon says, my brother took me here when he lost his virginity for the first time. He said, quote unquote, to get it wet. Sorry for the explicit use there. This has me interested to find even more about this guy. I'm like, what happened at that brothel, dude? What did he do? This girl's giving him like side eye, like during the entire conversation with Kristen Cole. And then after Kristen Cole walks away, the one who's running the brothel is engaging in conversations, asking how Aemon's doing. Aemon probably spent a little bit more time there than we kind of give than he leads on with Kristen Cole. So any takeaways from Aemon with this manhunt and his loyalty to, right, Aegon, despite him not wanting the throne and him not thinking he deserves it?
It's interesting because during that conversation, not with the owner of the brothel, but more of with Kristen Cole and them are basically talking about plotting to kill Aegon, or at least getting him away. They were like being suspicious, or hinting at it. That's why, like, with the fight sequence, like, oh, is Aegon, like, what are they going to decide here? But then it ended up not doing that at all. Kristen Cole's like, no, we're bringing you back to your mom. So it lends me to the fact it's either, yeah, sure, we could have the House Black kill Aegon, or we could have an inner death, like a similar to a, not, I won't say similar to, but like inner office quarrel, inner house quarrel, Tyrion killing his dad. Like we could have something like that where it's unexpected. And yes, I'm not saying it's, if anything, Aegon's Tyrion versus Aemon, because Aemon's actually tries and he's a beast. But it's just like we could see something, an unexpected death, and that's how like things get quote unquote more even along the way. So I'm really interested to see at least in that respect, how he's going to try to get to his path. Because, hey, he's playing the Game of Thrones too. And it just wasn't his time to kill Aegon or whatever, his path to get to the throne. But he will make that call soon or at some point.
Yes, and he knows when to act in public during that time. His brother's about to be named king. Wasn't the most opportune time, but maybe when he might be the one to recognize that Aegon is out of line, is one that is abusing his power, is one who's not good for the realm, and he might act upon that. Right? I could see that happening definitely in the future. I think I do want to mention one more character before we get to our character power rankings. Someone that's not considered for my rankings this week, but I think someone that's very impactful. I don't think her acting is very good, but Messaria, the White Worm, the one who has the inside scoop on all things going on within the King's Council and what's going on with this King Viserys' rulership. Okay. She has people on the inside. Larys hints at that. Not even Larys knows, like, all these people on the inside, despite his creepings around the castle and everything. I consider her for the 3 stars of the episode. I really did, because she's the one who has the inside, almost has an upper hand on Otto and Alicent's rule. She is the one who has Aegon, has the upper hand. She gets what she wants. She gets this stack of cash, right? But along with that, she gets this promise that there's going to be a cleanup of this underground fight club that Aegon is known to frequently visit and also contribute actual fighters to. So I considered her for 3 stars of the episode, just because someone that was teased at the end of the last one has spies on the inside. And I think it's someone that's also going to, she's going to contend for the Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me character of the episode to not forget.
Definitely is one of those. I agree with you. And I think I agree with you on everything. Just not like Littlefinger is the clear comparison here. Just not as good as of right now.
No.
But and
terrible actress. She's terrible.
So yeah, I think that's just tough to get by, especially with that comparison. Like I was saying in the beginning, it's hard to compare to Game of Thrones, hard to compare to the characters in Game of Thrones and the actors. I agree.
So let's get to the character power rankings and see where our adjustments lie. So last week, if we're looking at the rankings, Ricky Flicks had number 1, Daemon, number 2, Viserys, number 3, Rhaenyra, number 4, Alicent, and number 5, Aemon. Ricky Flicks, what kind of adjustments, if any, will you be making to this week's power rankings?
Daemon still has to be 1, even without being in the episode. He's been that good, even in the teaser when he's trying to lure Jin Jaharis' former dragon. It's electric. So I'm picking him at 1. All right. I think everything else gets hazy. I know who I want to put 2, but that's more towards 3 stars a night, as you saw. And I'm not going to do it, but I want to put Alicent. But I'm not going to. But she deserves to be in the top 5. But I'll wait with her. But after seeing this episode, who I was going to put at 2 was my number 3 last week, Rhaenyra. At watching Alicent here, it's like, you know what, Rhaenyra, older Rhaenyra, she kind of gets pushed around too, like all the time. So she does not have a lot of power. So who am I putting at 2? Someone that wasn't in the power rankings last week. And it's for the reasons you said. And I think after next week won't be in my power rankings. And it's Otto.
Wow. What a jump. What a jump, Ricky.
It's from what you said. And I really think it's 3 stars power rankings. They're different. He has clearly shown like he is the most Game of Thrones character there is, along with Daemon. Mm-hmm. And I have Rhaenyra at 3. So I still have her above Alicent, who will be at 4 for me. But I just think because I think Alicent will pass Rhaenyra next episode based on what my prediction is. And then 5 is where I really struggle. Because yes, did I like Aemon in this episode? Yes. I had Aemon at 5 last week. But did he do enough? Right? Has he been in this show enough to withhold his stake in my top 5? No. I think if he was in it throughout and powerful throughout. So who was the number 1 star of the night? Rhaenys. She won't be in it ever again probably, but she'll be in it this week. So my power rankings goes Daemon, Otto, Rhaenyra, Allison and Rhaenys.
Interesting, Ricky Flex. So you have a lot of change. Auto cracks the top 5 for you this week. Okay. Here's how I would go. First off, Allison is cracking the top 5 this week. I can't go another week, especially after we have a full house green episode for a penultimate. She's cracking the top 5. She is at number 5 for me. At number 4, Otto Hightower. Otto Hightower, number 4. I'm surprised that you had him so high after not having him as a 3-star of the night. I think that vindicates my reasoning for him to be 3-star of the night. 3. I'm moving up Aemon to number 3. I am more intrigued by his character. I'm anticipating a lot going into the finale, right? We're getting a little bit more into the personal life of Aemon. What he thinks about Aegon has me excited for his character. My 1 and 2 remain the same, Daemon and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is different than Alicent. Like, yes, Rhaenyra has looked weak, but it's not where someone's undermining her while she's ruling. She is the queen, meaning Alicent. Otto's the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, right? Rhaenyra is a leader. She just has her back against the wall. She did put herself in that position, right? Having bastards, okay? Separating herself from right, King's Landing. But do I have more confidence in her and her decisiveness in Alicent? Absolutely. But I think she's just a better character. I think it goes back to like what I think about her and Daemon, and it goes to the fact like I thought this was a lackluster episode. Why? Because not only we were missing Daemon, we were missing Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is a key part, a core of this show, and when she doesn't show up, it's very recognizable.
Well, let me get to a part of my power rankings, which is my predictions. All right, so in the teaser, Daemon says we cannot bend the knee, but that's more like a plea, like someone just said like maybe we should listen to their offer. I'm expecting Rhaenyra, who's similar to Alicent right now. I think she's like trying to be like, oh, like maybe we take him up and not try to. And Daemon's like, we're not bending the knee.
Rhaenyra is going to be pissed, bro.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that made me a little scared. So I thought I just want to say that. And Rhaenyra's clearly looked soft throughout this series so far, this season. She's tried to make peace offerings left and right, and she's not been an alpha yet. I think she will be. But who do I think is going to be an alpha next episode? After this episode looking so soft, and that's Allison. My hottest prediction next episode is Otto Hightower is dead after next episode.
We said
Allison's gonna kill.
I am like Alicent. We saw like, oh, she's marching in the wedding wearing green, and then like these next few episodes, oh, she's running the King's Council. Turns out she wasn't running shit.
Right.
She
but
wasn't
now it's
doing
like
anything.
She's gonna kill her own father.
But she was supposed to. What makes me think she's gonna do that now after she didn't take control? Right when her father told her,
because her father's been doing this behind her back, and now she knows.
He wasn't even there at the beginning, though. Like he wasn't there; he was gone, and then he comes back and just takes control. Like she is weaker than Rhaenyra. She is weaker.
Clearly, even she doesn't have a dragon herself. Like she's not going to be.
I just don't like these conversations where it's like Allison's going to make a turn. Allison's going to make a turn. This is like the second or third time we're saying she's going to make a turn. I'm like, it's about time she makes the turn. If she doesn't, she ain't. She's out
killing her own father is a turn.
Yeah, but that is a Ricky. That is a prediction. That is a prediction. That has not happened yet. And based on what we've seen from Alicent,
on
Rhaenys' comments during this episode,
do I have Alicent ahead of Rhaenyra? And I think the comments in this episode is leaning towards the turn. I think it's all leaning towards that. That's why it's a prediction. That's why I have Alicent at 4, Rhaenyra at 3 in my power rankings.
They are your rankings.
So I'm just saying, like, everything here is aligning with what I'm trying to say. I just think that I'm also looking at episode 10 and the teaser, which was a great teaser.
I didn't watch that again either.
You didn't watch it?
I never watched the teasers.
Dude,
I don't want to.
It was sick. Rhaenyra, fine. You don't want to say anything?
Well, you can. You did it last time too. Like I just don't watch it.
Also,
I just like, yeah.
Yeah, and also leads to my other prediction, which is I think Lucerys is dead after next episode too. And that's why I think Aegon and Aemon, they're both gonna be susceptible to payback in next season. So in the teaser, you see Aemon a dragon fight, Aemon there, but you also see him take off. He's on the
I saw that.
Land,
I saw a picture.
And he takes off his eye patch. So who is he doing that to? Has to be to Lucerys. So
he is going to. Yeah, it's done. Yeah. Lucerys is done. And you see, Aemon is he's had his eyes set on that ever since the eye incident. And then, like with the toast, like you're right, Lucerys is gone, done. That should be a segment. Who's gone? Who's gone during the finale? Lucerys dead, guaranteed.
Lucerys dead. I think Otto Hightower. There's a scene where he's on the bridge. Damon's right there, and they're about to fight. I think what he goes to do at Dragonstone, he fails. He comes back, and Alicent's like, "Not only did you fail me, but you also like went behind my back. Your own daughter, boom, dead. Also there as well." So those are my main predictions.
But she's not the queen she's not the queen. Like it's but it's Aegon. Like he wanted Aegon there. He helped Aegon get there, and then happened. You know,
Kristen Cole.
Like, why is she going to kill him?
Kristen Cole's in love with her or whatever. At least he's very loyal to her. She'll listen to anything he says. She says.
But why would she? But yeah, she went against him. But like, why does she care now? She's not like Aegon is the king.
No, because
Aegon needs Otto.
That's not the point of that scene. Though the point of the scene is that Otto went behind her. Her servant was the spy.
Yes.
So
I get
literally everything that ever she said is susceptible to her father.
Yes, but I don't get why it matters now. Because you think Alicent's just going to be the one, like the hand is going to be Alicent is like Larys is going to be the hand to Aegon. Yes. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Those the best. You can't do that. Those are the two of the most messed up people. Like Aemon will say no to that. You can't have Larys.
They will.
Oh, man, this is what Larys's reward is going to be. Otto dead. He's the hand to Aegon. Wow.
Yes, it's not just for feet. I'm telling you.
Man, Ricky, I don't know. Like
it's a prediction.
I can sort of see it.
I do hot takes, but that is a pretty good reasoning for it.
I think Otto would be a fire hand for Aegon, though. Like Otto,
but he has to die. You need a big death.
Does it have to be him?
Viserys isn't big enough. He's barely been in it. Like, give me Otto Hightower dead. We could just kill off Ned Stark and not Otto? Like, no.
I see what you're saying, and I get it. Like, yes, he went against Alicent and whatever, you know? Again. I'm just saying that, yes, but everyone went against Alicent, and they just made an excuse. All the Green Council went against Alicent, and they had this plan in place even before this dying wish was made. So it just made her think like she can't trust anybody. Like her killing Otto does not going to change too much, in my opinion.
I think she's
a young, immature king. A young, immature king. When you have Alicent there next to her, it's going to be Joffrey, Cersei. You think she's Cersei to her Joffrey? No way.
But what like you're the one that like told me about like this Alicent versus Rhaenyra. That's what I think we're trying to get at here. So I think she's trying to become a Cersei.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't even want to put Cersei in the same conversation because we talked about this. I'm not an Alicent person. Never have been. Never will be. I think we got to get to our last segment though. The Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me character of next episode. Who do you have for this? I want to hear your thoughts first. Maybe give me a couple names, and I'll see if I have the same.
Well, Lord Commander Westerling
had it.
I'm not picking anyone from like major characters like Rhaenyra or Daemon from Team Black. I think that's cheating. We don't forget about them. But I think we forget about Lucerys. Like I said, my prediction is he's a goner. So he's a don't you forget about me. Next episode, he's dead.
Yeah, and then I had Corlys. We still haven't gotten an update if he's dead or not.
Again.
We don't know if he's dead or not. And Rhaenys had this power play during this episode, yet like we don't know about Corlys. And then you had Corlys mentioned here by Alicent. Alicent takes a shot at Corlys. I think that upset Rhaenys, where she says, your husband left you, right, for 6 years to go fight on the seas, and now he might be dead. It makes me think she is going to, like, grab Corlys and say, get your ass up from that bed, right? It's time to take down Alicent Hightower. We need to go right now, right? So Corlys is my other one. Any final thoughts before we go into episode 10, the finale for House of the Dragon already?
I think we covered it, but I do also just want to make a mention that we initially wanted to do Rings of Power recaps. And I will say, I think it was episode 7, the big battle, and no spoilers, but explosive episode was great. The next episode, the ending to that one was great. And the finale was pretty dang good. The connections to Lord of the Rings were strong, really strong, and it's setting up. I know I hate how we always say shows and setting up, but this one direct, like clear connections to Lord of the Rings, and we have movement now. And things finally came together where there was so much confusion the entire season. And I'm not saying it made up for it because I don't think it did. I still think it did not live up near to expectations of what it should have been. But maybe season 2 will, and I will continue watching because the ending of the season, for anyone that is listening, was if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, it was something.
Yeah, I saw like a tweet saying like they want to make Sauron an anti-hero type figure, almost like one that is in the same vein as
Definitely.
Tony Soprano and Walter White. Once again, I have to finish House of the Dragon and then I'll move on to that. I can't invest myself into Rings of Power because I know I'm not going to care about it as long as House of the Dragon is on. That's like basically where my head's at right now. Before we go, ranking penultimate episodes for Game of Thrones. I made a list, Ricky Flex, and we can adjust it. I would like us to have one list together that we can put out, right? I know that I kind of sprung this segment on you, so I made a list, and I want to know what you would change. We both have the same number 1. We hinted at it earlier. I think we're just going to start at 1, to be honest. Would you rather start at the back end or would you rather start at 1?
We all know if you're listening to this, you watch House of the Dragon, you most likely 99% watched Game of Thrones. We all know what number 1 is. So let's just, and probably number 2, maybe 3 can battle that. So let's just go 1 on down.
Okay. So, obviously, it is going to be the Reigns of Castamere. It's going to be the Red Wedding. Episode 9, season 3. I think this is hands down, it's probably the most iconic moment in the history of Game of Thrones. This is where this is the moment people harken back to saying, what is the most Game of Thrones scene in the history of Game of Thrones? The shock factor that goes with that, the characters we grew such an attachment to. House Stark, that's allegedly is rumored to make quite the appearance in season 2 of House of the Dragon. Fingers crossed. I love myself some House Stark.
See episode 10 too.
Potentially. Hey, let's see where these alliances go. Where do loyalties lie? Baratheons. Yes. Okay. So Red Wedding is easily number 1. I don't think it's really up for debate. I also don't think number 2 is really up for debate. It's the end of season 6, episode 9. We're talking Battle of the Bastards. To me, like this is easily number 2. It's probably the best battle. It is. I'm just gonna say it is the best battle in the history of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Don't give me the long night. Don't give me the dark episode where you can't see going on. Don't give me where Arya is taking down the Night King instead of Jon Snow. Jon Snow in the iconic moment where he basically is going 1 on a million, right? The most iconic gif in the history of gifs with him taking out his sword. That's Ricky Flex on Twitter on the daily. Knights of the Vale, right? Peter Baelish coming to the rescue.
Yeah.
Rickon Stark, like running across the field before battle. We're getting the last of what's the guy's name? Evil dude.
Ramsay
Bolton. Sorry. Like I was talking about Joffrey so much. I'm thinking of Aegon this episode. I forgot about Ramsay's name. Ramsay, probably the most evil character, ruthless. We get the revenge of Sansa.
Jon Snow's
Ramsay Bolton.
Stepbrother technically dies.
Jon Snow's
Remember the start of Battle of the Bastards, the arrow scene.
Yeah, so Rickon. I said Rickon Stark.
Rickon. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Rickon marching across. Sick. Amazing start to the battle. And then when all hope is lost, I said Knights of the Vale, the horses colliding, Jon Snow, the bodies tackling, right? Him rising to the top, looking like he's going to suffocate. This is the best battle. And usually this is the only time you get battles in Game of Thrones season. This is episode 9, and this is the tip of the top, and it takes center stage. Probably the best episode with Jon Snow.
I also want to mention the teaser. I did mention how I love the teaser to episode 10, House of the Dragon episode 10. Long night vibes, though. Long night vibes in the teaser. So that's just something to watch out for. That might be a complaint Sunday night, but I didn't like the vibes there. I liked what was going on, but I had to rewatch it on my computer. Like I don't like that.
That's episode 7 too. That was the harsh criticism, was the contrast of the episode, how dark it was for audiences. Don't like that, Ricky Flicks. Do not like that one bit. I have number 3 here, Ned Stark beheading, season 1. It's got to be.
Yep.
When you think of that's probably obvious. Read alongside the Red Wedding, probably the second most iconic moment in the history of Game of Thrones is the beheading of Ned Stark, beloved character from start from episode 1, season 1, all the way to episode 9. Are they actually going to chop his head off? Joffrey yelling off with his head. You got Arya in the crowd, almost like Rhaenys in the last episode of House of the Dragon, looking on, her being taken away, the Starks being separated, Sansa being held as a prisoner. It was just the shock, once again, shock factor, right? Beheading there, then you see like the pain that the Starks go through in these penultimate episodes. It's a lot to handle.
Yeah, I think this is. I wouldn't have it at 2, but if you had it at 2, I don't think I would understand it because that season 1, like you did not see that coming at all. Like that, you didn't know Game of Thrones if you didn't read the books, like that was going to happen at all. You didn't think, oh, the protagonist of the series is just going to get beheaded like that. It changed history for TV shows, like of all time. You guess Psycho 19 whatever 60, and like the main character dying within the first 30 minutes. It didn't change cinema history or whatever, but like it's like, oh, social media is now here, forefront. Everyone watched Game of Thrones. Just the shock factor itself. That's what everyone remembers for Game of Thrones. I think that's why, like, oh, yeah, that could be 2. But for me, and clearly for you, it's 3.
Okay, moving on with the next episode and our list of best penultimate episodes in Game of Thrones. I'm going with the Battle at the Wall. We're going to season 4, episode 9. This is the battle between the wildlings of the North, with Jon Snow and the boys, right, of the Night's Watch. This is where we have the death of Ygritte. Jon Snow at the end. We see like the connections he ends up making with the wildlings, and kind of like chaos ensues at the Wall following this battle. A lot of the characters here, like we grow some fondness towards the wildlings that are actually fighting in this battle, but it's like Jon Snow, a virgin when he gets to the Wall, falls in love with Ygritte, his real life wife, by the way. Right, Rose Leslie and Kit Harington are a match. This might be one of the all-time Jon Snow episodes too, right? Going alongside Battle of the Bastards, him and his first love of Ygritte. So, did you have this one at number 4?
I think it's
Great battle sequence
I
too. Probably top 3 battle sequence, I think, in Thrones.
I don't know. It's great. I don't know. It's better than
So,
House of Dragon easily.
I already told you, House of the Dragon I have way down this list, bro.
I would too.
This is not as good. Like this recent House of Dragon is not as good as the Battle at the Wall.
Wait. Are you saying Battle at the Wall or like the Watchers on the Wall? Season 4?
Yeah, it's like the huge battle at the
Okay.
Wall.
I think
Not like when I'm not talking season 8, or
yeah.
season 7. I mean,
Okay.
I'm talking
Because I think that one's
season
actually
4.
called Battle at the Wall.
I have
So
the
you keep
names right
saying
here
that?
too.
I think so that's why I think I'm confused.
Oh yeah, so it's probably right here. Yeah, Watchers of the Wall. Watchers on the
Yeah,
Wall.
okay. Watchers on the Wall. All right. Let's just keep going, then maybe change my mind.
Okay. Next, I got Rhaenyra at Marine. Rhaenyra at Marine. You have the iconic dragon, the basically large scale dragons making a splash during Game of Thrones. Rhaenyra looks like she's about to meet her death at Marine. You got, what are those guys? The Harpy, Sons of the Harpy, wearing the masks, and you fight in. And she's in like that desert type setting at Marine, and she's saved with the huge dragon. You have obviously you have Peter Dinklage, right, in the, basically joining and convinced after this moment to be on Daenerys Targaryen's side, with Tyrion Lannister. I forgot his name for a second. Excuse me. So I use this stage as an actor name, but that the look and shock of Tyrion during that moment is like what audiences felt. It's like, holy shit, like dragons are here. It felt like Game of Thrones was actually making a turn at this time, where instead of being the political thriller it was in the first 4 seasons, like we are making the shift to like a little bit more of the fantastical. And I think it like the show was never the same since, but I think it was a huge splash with the dragons. Rhaenyra, and excuse me, not Rhaenyra, Dany makes a full-on turn from here, and she becomes ruthless, not ruthless, but she becomes like an unquestioned leader, right? And a true threat once she's out of Marine for the Iron Throne.
Yeah, okay. I think this one is worse than what we just said, Watchers on the Wall. I would agree with that.
Oh, I skipped one.
Yeah,
Shit.
there's
I
one that
Battle
I have at
Blackwater. Shit. Battle
okay.
Blackwater. Or are you saying like season 7, bro? Are you jumping to season 7?
I like season 7.
I do too. Wait. Okay. So actually, let's adjust here. This is a team effort, Ricky Flex. I still think Battle at the Wall is 4. I got Blackwater and then Rhaenyra at Marine. I would be okay having season 7 here with the open field battle with Dickon, right? Getting fried right in the beginning of that episode. Remember him? But then we have like the
I
first
remember that
dragon
now.
getting taken down during that battle.
Dude,
Like it's pretty sick.
yeah, it was so sick. Like,
Yeah. Okay, let's do
Beyond
this.
the Wall, like, I think we're forgetting that episode. It was amazing. And then the White Walker dragon.
That leads to like the meeting at the dragon pit, like, right?
It got you so hyped for the White Walkers. Like, so hyped. So that's why for me, I absolutely love that one. I think I am by myself on an island on this one. But
I like this.
that for me, like, that changed Game of Thrones, in my opinion, to like, all right, this is about the White Walkers. Like, yes, it's been leading up to that, but now, oh my god, like killing
Beyond
dragons,
the
like,
Wall.
yeah. I love that one. I'm fine if you want to put that at 5, but I think it's better than the Bells, personally.
Am I thinking of the wrong episode? So like, wait, Beyond, is that where the where Jon Snow is rescued? Right, he's by himself.
Trapped. They're trapped on the rock.
Yes, so I was thinking of the wrong episode. Excuse me. Like I thought we were talking about. Am I thinking of season? That's got to be season 7 that I'm thinking of, right? Where they have the open field battle, or is that season 8? Hard time. It's not either way. It's not a penultimate episode.
Yeah, it's not a penultimate
so
one.
Beyond the Wall,
episode.
I agree. I take it back. Right. So yes. So this is where you have like Gendry. You have like the dream team get together, right? You have Jon Snow, Tormund, Jorah, Gendry, Beric, Thoros, and the Hound like teaming up, right? Going beyond the wall. Jon getting stuck behind, and then you get the shimmy. This is the shimmy gif, right, of the Night King. No, 100%. This has got to go. Whoa.
The Kobe shot, like, that was absurd. Like,
the Kobe shot. Oh my god, I was thinking of the wrong episode. Oh my god, people are gonna murder me for that.
Like, didn't you like, this is when, like, oh my god, like, she does love Jon Snow. Like, going to save him. Like,
this is number 4. This
Thank
is number
you.
4.
I did it.
This is number 4. That's good, Ricky. Shoot. And then I have Battle at the Wall at 5. Then Battle Blackwater, and then I got Rhaenyra at Marine. Okay, is that good with you?
Yeah, and
Blackwater, whatever. It's a lot of focus on the Lannisters, so I don't love it. I'm not House Lannister. I'm not Team Lannister. I don't stand Team Lannister. Yeah, Baratheon. Yeah, sure. Rhaenyra, right? Marine, good. Then I have House of the Dragon. Then I have season 8.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm good with that.
Yeah, Red Wedding. So we got season 3, Red Wedding.
Yeah.
We got season 6, Battle of the Bastards. We got season 1 at number 3 with Ned Stark's beheading. Number 4, we got season 7, Beyond the Wall. Yes. Number 5, we have Battle at the Wall, which is season 4. 6, Battle Blackwater, which is season 2. Rhaenyra at Marine, which is season 5. House of the Dragon, most recent series, season 1. And then season 8, right? Second to last episode, which is not even worth bringing up in my opinion.
You missed one.
No, I didn't. Did I? What am I forgetting?
Dude, the one where the Baratheon kills his own daughter and wife, burned to death.
That's the same one as Rhaenyra at Marine.
Okay, got it. All right,
that's a jaw-dropping moment, one that I do not like to talk about.
Yeah, that's
not like to talk about.
I hate that scene, even though it's like, holy crap. Also, a spoiler: House of the Dragons in that scene, in that episode, I think.
So I think they knew season 5. Remember, Stannis went from guy that was so hell bent on claiming the throne, and then what he resorts to at the end, and then what Melisandre is convincing him to do. It's so messed up. But they needed like extra juice to that episode because I think Rhaenyra escaping Marine with the dragon wasn't enough, and they knew they had to pent it up a little bit. Then they have Stannis killing his own daughter.
Yeah, you're right. I'm remembering now. This has been a chaotic segment, but it's unbelievable.
That's because I forgot about season 7. That's what made it so chaotic. But then we made it at number 4. That was an electric moment.
I love that one.
All right,
I love it.
That's great. And so that's going to do it for our ranking of Game of Thrones penultimate episodes. Rough showing for the recent House of the Dragon, but in our opinion, well-deserved. That's going to do it for episode 159 of the Drive-In Podcast. Make sure you are following wherever you're listening right now. Wherever you're listening, make sure rate us 5 stars, okay? Leave us a review. If you're also watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, leave a comment. We'll comment back. Make sure you're following us on our social channels at the Drive-In Pod on Twitter and Instagram. That's going to do it for Ricky Flux and Dr. O. Until next time, we will smell ya.